Yeah, you. See, my name's Robert-Mahdi Soto. This is my first YouTube video ever. I know that so many of you are oftentimes struggling with this feeling that you're supposed to create something, that you're supposed to make things, that you're supposed to put your art out there to the world, whether it's music or whether it's creating videos or a podcast or whether you're supposed to be someone who builds the next amazing business, right? Before there was an Apple, before there was an Amazon, before there was a Facebook, before there was any of the amazing content that you share with your friends online, there was somebody with an idea, somebody with a dream, somebody with a mission, somebody who felt a calling that they were meant for something, that they were supposed to bring this idea from the ethereal into this reality here. And so I just want to make this video so that I can share with you that you are supposed to do that. And this is my exact framework, how I've been doing it myself. So I first started, I was working a corporate job after I had graduated Brown University, and I absolutely hated it. I was working in management consulting for biotech and pharmaceutical companies, and I was a part of the problem. I was pricing drugs, and I was looking at myself and feeling totally like I was a part of this system that's maybe not necessarily helping the world. But I knew that I had this calling to help the world. So I was faced with a lot of dissonance. And after 18 months of working at this job, I decided that it wasn't for me. And I was supposed to go pursue something in the world. I was supposed to go help people at scale. And I knew that I had to go on a mission. I had to embark on a mission. And so I laid out 3 steps for myself. And maybe I wasn't clearly kind of aligned and aware that these were the 3 steps in the moment, but I had this calling and I had this feeling. I felt a voice and I heard a voice inside calling to me and telling me that these were the next steps. So after my grandfather passed away, right as I was reaching that 18-month point in my job, I realized that I had to do this. And so I quit my job and I moved all the way across the country back to my home. And I came back to my roots and I said, what am I supposed to do? And I fully surrendered to that voice inside. And I laid it out in 3 steps right here. First one, get strong, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And the way that we start there is we start with the mental and physical, and they usually go hand in hand. And so I knew that I had to get in the gym, I had to have a regimen, I had to be disciplined, and I had to have a calendar in which I organized my life, because I knew that I was building and progressing towards something larger in this world. So I had to start laying the groundwork, laying the foundation for what I knew was coming next, for what I knew was supposed to be who I am, what I've seen in my dreams, the visions, I knew it. And so I had to get in the gym. I started lifting weights 3 to 5 times a week. I went through and I learned all about the best ways to lift weights to get strong, and I pushed myself. I developed discipline and habits, and I realized that the more that I work hard for myself and my goals, the better my life got. The more that I listened to that voice inside of my head that called me to go ahead and clean up my life and to start pursuing something better, to work hard, to be disciplined, to be regimented, to get up early, to go ahead and do the things that we all know we're supposed to do, my life got so much better, and I built those habits and discipline. I built my body physically. I was over 315 pounds when I first embarked on this journey. And now I come to you today 100 pounds lighter, someone who's went through the trials and tribulations of dealing with a life that I lived, where I was trying to hide all of the pain and the pressure that I felt from this calling inside of me that I felt like I wasn't living up to. And so I coped with it. Drugs, food, alcohol, sex, partying, anything that I could. All of the things that maybe you find yourself doing right now because you're trying to escape this feeling that you feel inside, where you're called for something more, but you don't know necessarily how to bring that to fruition. You don't know how to live your daily life in alignment with what's inside here, what that voice is calling you to do. But I just want to tell you, surrender to it fully. Take the first step. Let's get strong physically. Get in the gym, lift weights, work out, and start taking care of our nutrition here. The easiest way to do it is not to go on some crazy diet, but rather to go ahead and think, let's just go to real foods. Let's go to whole foods. Cut away all the processed stuff, thinking about lean meats, thinking about a carb of some type, potatoes, rice. That works super easy. So you have your lean meats, your carbs, and you have your veggies or a little bit of a side or a sauce. You have yogurt. You have a lot of things that are whole foods. You have fruits, tons of amazing options. Don't worry about the calories. Don't worry about counting all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. That will come later. This is a step-by-step process. Get in the gym, start lifting weights, and have a plan that you follow. And then go ahead and start to eat whole foods. Prioritize protein and get lean meats in. There we go. We've checked off the physical component of it. Now we have a regiment, we have discipline, we have habits. We realize that we're contributing to our body so that we can become a better version of ourselves, so that we can then carry out the dream, the mission, the idea that you have inside. See, it's all a part of this. And the next step here is we're getting strong, but we're getting strong in our mental. We see now that we have these habits and these disciplines built up, and this discipline built up. And now we want to translate this. We want to translate this over to building out our lives where we believe in ourselves. We have shown ourselves through the day in, day out effort of being in the gym, of taking care of our nutrition, of honing in our body and our discipline, our habits. We're waking up and we're doing it even when we don't want to, because we know it's good for us. And we know that what's good for us is good for the world, because what we pursue is a bigger dream, a bigger mission, something to go ahead and spread our art that's going to help the world. We owe the world our eyes. You see, we owe the world our eyes. Your unique experience, your unique life that you've lived, the lessons that you've gleaned, the people that you've met, the places you've traveled to, the things that you've endured, the pain you've overcome. All of this is all a part of your unique story, that when you share it with the world, you may be able to help somebody. Just like me, who looked online and found so many people, content creators, people doing podcasts, so many people who've written books and audiobooks that I listen to, and so many people that I've met in my day-to-day life who helped me to become the man that I am now, a man that I'm proud of, a man who has the confidence and believes in himself enough to step in front of this camera right here and actually share with you my voice, my worldview, what I believe has worked for me and what might maybe work for you. But this is all a part of this process. And the reason I put spiritual as the third one here in getting strong spiritually is because oftentimes I know so many of us are caught up thinking that we're not worthy, thinking that we're not ready to have this relationship with a greater, a higher power, a creator, a God. And oftentimes we need to go ahead and put in that work so that we build up a stack of undeniable proof, to quote Alex Hormozy here, that we are who we say we are. And when we know that, then you realize that that voice is not just calling you to be the best version of yourself, but it's calling you for this bigger mission and this bigger purpose you have in the world. And then you connect to it. And then you connect to this calling, and you feel that there's that voice there, and you start to ask, what is that voice? And that's the question that I asked. What is that voice? Well, then I got to explore, and I got to read biographies and hear successful people talk, people that I look up to, not only in their business and their wealth, but in the character and the version of themselves that they presented to the world that was kind and compassionate, loving, giving, and to the strong men who were capable of taking care of their families, all the people who were building and creating, producing art that was impacting people's lives. I started to look at them, and I realized that they had this similar thing where they listened to this voice that they called their higher selves, this inner voice, this intuition. You feel it calling your name. And so when you surrender to that and you start to develop this relationship and connection with that higher voice, you start to build a spiritual relationship in which you see that there's something above you that calls you forward. That every single next step you take, you are led in faith. You are led by this higher calling. And that's when you start to develop that spiritual connection. And that's when you realize that you're supposed to spread good in this world, that you're supposed to help others. And every single person has a different way that they do it. And that's amazing. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes people spectacular. That's what makes all the people that are memorable in your life memorable. Is because they weren't just like every other person. They were unique, and they walked their own path. They had a way of speaking and things that their own life experienced. They were storytellers. They were people who were happy and jovial, people who were strong, capable, and competent. When they spoke, their words had presence. You see, you can become everything that you admire in other people by first getting strong physically, mentally, and then you develop that spiritual relationship, and you realize that you are equipped to go out into the world and to spread positive things, to spread positive energy, and to help other people. All right, so then it comes to step 2. In step 2 here, we're learning skills. Because now that you've honed in on the vessel, on you, on who you are, now you can go ahead and get out there in the world and start to accumulate actual skills where you can make an impact in this 3-dimensional world. So for me, I realized that I had to go ahead and learn how to help people in this plane, in this earth, where we're at right now. And so I learned how to be a personal trainer. I had a degree in biology and health and human physiology, and I went out and got my personal training certification, and I went out and I started learning about sales and business and working with people and connecting and communicating with people. And then I was able to get my first personal training clients, and that was amazing. Now I had this skill. I had the skill of training, and that also allowed me to have the skill of building out my calendar and structuring clients and slotting and prioritizing things. And it allowed me to build out the skill of selling because I had to sell my training as well. And so when I developed these skills, then I was able to actually transact the person I was and the energy that I could share, the good that I could give to others for resources in exchange. And then I was able to make a little bit of money to go ahead and help myself and to help my family and to continue to put that and reinvest that in my growth so that I can learn more skills, so I could learn how to create content online, so I could learn how to sell better, so I could learn how to communicate better, so I could increase my understanding of universal truths by buying courses. I mean, you can go ahead and buy a course online right now for maybe, a few $100s or less that will literally tell you the secrets to the universe. Like, not even a joke. If anybody's involved in the spiritual community, you know that that's something that exists and that is out there, and you can do it. It's never been easier in any point in history to go ahead and get amazing knowledge from people all across the globe who have been masters in their crafts and in their field, whether it's direct things like marketing or sales, or whether it's indirect things like learning about Reiki or somatic healing, or learning about all of these different things in the world. If you want to study theology or you want to be creating music, it's all available to you. So once we've honed in on ourselves, we develop discipline, we are strong, we're confident, we respect ourselves, and we live our lives like we respect ourselves. We have the spiritual connection, we understand that we're working towards a higher purpose and we have a higher calling, and that when we do good for ourselves, we're doing good for the world. Then we start to learn and build skills, and we have a framework of discipline, of consistency, a schedule built out. We know that we wake up early and we work hard and we progress these things, and then we're getting those skills, and now we're a person of value to the world, of real value, of value that you can transact for money, a value that you can transact for trading services and resources. This is an amazing point in your life in which you will realize that you are doing this. You are living the life that you're supposed to. And after you start to acquire and learn these skills, then it comes step 3. This is where you serve others with everything in your soul. You give everything. Because in this, you've worked hard to go ahead and develop your body and your mind and your spirit, and you see a path forward, and you're enjoying the beautiful things in life, and you're helping others on a day-to-day via the skills that you've acquired. And now you go full force in serving others as much as you possibly can, whether it's through those direct skills or in your day-to-day interactions, standing in line at the grocery store, speaking to people, sharing a kind word, breaking that fourth wall, breaking this day-to-day matrix that we live in, right? Where everyone's just the niceties. Oh, how's your day going? Good. Oh, great. How's the weather? Blah, blah, blah. Break all that shit. You're a unique individual. You've built up skills. You're confident in yourself. You're strong. You look good. You feel good. You know how to speak to others. You see, this is your moment. This is your time now where you get to go ahead and really push yourself out to the world to spread this positive message. And here you're serving others through not only your day-to-day work from the skills you've acquired, but you're serving others in every single step that you walk along this path. And so as you do this, you continually keep learning skills and keep refining your body and keep refining your mental and spiritual and keep refining your habits and discipline. You keep learning and growing, and you're serving others along the way as much as you possibly can. And see, I know it sounds so simple, and I know maybe it sounds a little ethereal or woo-woo, but I promise you, coming from someone who has a background in biology, who cares about the science, and who likes things to be clear-cut and understandable and logical, this is the way. This is the way that anybody out there who may be struggling with feeling, a sense of purposelessness, or feeling low and tired and depressed and not living in alignment with their purpose, this is the way. It's 3 steps. Get strong physically, mentally, and spiritually. Learn skills. And then go ahead and utilize all of that, the person that you've built up and the skills that you've acquired, the wisdom that you've garnered, to serve others. And when you live life like this, it gets so freaking good. 2 years ago, I was over 300 pounds. 2 years ago, I was working in a job that I hated. 2 years ago, I laid down on my bed and I didn't care if I lived or if I died. I didn't care if I woke up the next morning. It wasn't who I was. That wasn't me. And I knew it. So I surrendered to the will of my higher self. I surrendered to the will of the voice inside of me that called me to embark on this mission that I knew I was supposed to live in life and I was supposed to carry out. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I'm 100 pounds lighter today. I'm making more money than I was in my consulting job. And I'm helping people every single day. And the best part is, when I look in the mirror now and I see the man I am, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself beyond belief. And that allows me to vibrate at a high frequency and a high energy so that every time I interact with somebody, I can share a word that may be impactful. I can come from a place of positivity and love and sharing truths. And I can really be a positive force in this world, because that's what this higher calling has called me to do. And we all have this inside of us. Some of us have it buried deep, deep down. And some of us, it's right there, calling us every single second. And you're so close to just surrendering to it, because you can't keep living the way that you were living. You just can't. You just can't. So whether you're right there and you have to take this step out of a necessity, or you realize that this is the path for you, please, please listen to this. It's your time now. It's your time to embark on this journey. You were gifted with a mission and a purpose. You were gifted with skills. You have a unique life experience that the world needs. So please, please, please work on yourself, care about yourself, believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself first, how is anybody else going to believe in you, right? Believe in yourself. Put in the work physically, mentally, spiritually, learn skills, and then serve others. And I promise you, you will live a life so amazing. You will be a living and a walking testament to just how life really should be lived, and just how good a life lived in service to others, spreading positivity and good in this world can be. My name's Robert-Mahdi Soto. This is my first YouTube video ever. I just wanted to share it with the world and to remind you all that you can do this. You are meant for this. I believe in you, and work hard to believe in yourself. Put in the effort. I promise you, good things are coming. We're blessed and grateful always. And remember, stay the course. More to come.